Welcome to Talent Instinct, an electrifying space where we dive into how construction business owners revamp their hunt for top-tier talent by instinctivizing their efforts. It's time to spice up relying on systems and processes and discover prime insights on how to smartly apply their most important aspect, their instinct, as well as intellect, to pinpoint individuals who don't just fit in, but flourish. Let's face it, making the right hire for your business has never been more paramount. The stakes of the wrong hire can disrupt performance, profit, culture, and succession planning. Talent Instinct isn't about playing it safe. It's about conquering with calculated instinct. This month I've picked some great topics to talk about, and I've written some blogs on my website. If you want to go check out the blogs can be found on www.siteforcerecruitment.com.au. Now, I've picked some articles that are a lot to do with being a great manager and how to manage different personality types. But one of the other big subjects that I decided to talk to that I think is super relevant to all of us right now has got to do with the rain and how that's affecting people and their personalities and their work and frustration. And of course, we've got the Blind Freddy results that we can see, which is that we have problems trying to get our projects out of the ground right now. That's affecting our budgets. We've also got a lot of people that could be sitting at home for a very long time. Even in that, I have definitely had some conversations about the fact that everyone decided that they were probably better off to go down the track of hiring people full time because it's really hard to find staff, so they wanted to keep them. And now it's become a real problem because their payrolls are massive and they've got people sitting at home. So definitely something to think about. And definitely something to try and manage accordingly in terms of moving your staff around, having different size projects for you to do. So do you do some small, walk-ups, a bit of domestic, residential, whatever, and then you have a side of the business that does more the commercial stuff because, of course, high risk but more money sort of scenario. So the reason why this subject really came up for me was because I was talking to a worker and he was telling me how frustrated he was and that it was because of the rain. And I've joked for many, many years about me having seasonal depression. I definitely could never live in Melbourne. I think that's most of us here that live in sunny Queensland. We love the sun, we love the warmth and all of that sort of stuff. But we have had an extremely wet season. It's looking like it's going to be wet winter as well, and that's what I've been told. And I think that it's a massive topic for us to try and broach now because obviously we're going to have to talk about juggling your deadlines, juggling your workers, supplies. And I know that we have all had a gutful. And when I've been talking to clients at the moment, we're definitely all still busy, but finding it hard to reschedule things constantly because of the weather. Projects are being put back because obviously, I said, we can't get out of the ground. We can't get machines out. And it's definitely having some effects on not only you as a business owner, but as your workers as well. So we started to investigate what is it, seasonal depression, and we came up to understand that there is actually a thing called seasonal affective disorder, SAD, which is ironic. So there are some definite understanding maybe we need about it, and I'm just bringing this to everyone's attention because it doesn't change some of the problems that we're going to have and how people behave, and we're going to have to deal with with that accordingly. And again, I had one of those situations, unfortunately, where I've been seeing quite a bit of late where people haven't been so in control of their emotions and their reactions have been quite high and definitely not or thinking through how they should handle things. They're just being very reactive. But I'll go through this and I'll at least do this description and so you guys kind of know what to look out for. So seasonal affective disorder, it's a type of depression that affects seasonally or occurs seasonally, obviously. Typical during fall and winter months when daylight hours are shorter. It can also occur when we have long periods of wet weather when there is little daylight. While the exact cause of SAD is not fully understood, it is believed to be related to changes in the circadian rhythms and reduced exposure to sunlight. Symptoms of SAD may include persistent low moods, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, changes in appetite or weight, and loss of interest in activities once enjoyed. So obviously, from what I've just said, those very much affect us. And having someone turn up with not a good mood, that affects the team, that affects the way they're working. Fatigue and difficulty concentrating, while frustrating, we're telling them to do things 10 times. Why aren't they doing this? How come they're not performing? They might have a change in their appetite or weight. So then as I mentioned, they might get fatigue as well. They're just really not performing up to scratch on what we need. And when we're already feeling the pressures of trying to catch up on work and everything else that's going on, it can definitely start to feel like such a explosive situation. And of course, we have those other things that we have to worry about with fatigue and everything else. And that's more on the safety issue, is that if people aren't concentrating, if they've got fatigue, we have more liability for there to be safety issues and safety problems that happen. So factors may contribute to the development of seasonal affective disorder as the reduced exposure to sunlight, particularly during the darker months of the year where there's prolonged wet weather. Well, that's a tick, guys. That's definitely us at the moment. It can disrupt the body's internal clock and serotonin levels, leading to mood changes and depression. Additionally, factors such as genetics, hormonal imbalances, pre-existing mental health conditions may increase the risk of developing SAD as well. Well, again, that means that with all of the issues that we had and different problems that we had with people coming out of COVID, and a lot more people recognizing these days and having names for their mental issues. So we've got a lot more emphasis on people being diagnosed and things like that. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just making a point here that if they already have those mental issues, then this is not going to help them at all. It's really, really going to bring those things to the surface. And I think that that's what I'm seeing right now. I just think that it would be great to make sure that you check in with your team if there is any sort of issues or people are getting frustrated or you can see any of these symptoms already. Maybe nip it in the bud nice and early. Make sure you go and you give them some coping things as well. Some of the things to do is to make sure they're taking opportunities to get in the sun during lunchtime, spend some time really regulating their mood, find other ways just to make sure that they're doing things. I've said this before, there are some clients out there that are doing team building exercises and things like that. So just keep an eye on things, guys. That's what I'm saying. It's really hard as well. If people are staying at home a lot with their families, they've also got no structure. They're starting to think about the money coming in and all of that as well. Definitely good to check in with people, friends, family, all of that. Just make sure that we're all looking after each other and we're all okay. And just make sure that if they need anything, that you can talk to them. This is just, again, a bit of education on what is affecting people at the moment, and a lot of what I'm seeing is going on out there. I definitely think we need to make sure that even though as business owners we are really fiercely looking for other work and doing a lot of tendering at the moment, make sure you still check in with your team, make sure you still check they're okay, and let them know that it's a lot other people are going through it as well. And if they need any other sort of counselling services, that's also available. They can go in and see their doctor and get a mental health plan. And even if it is for a short amount of time, there is support out there. Well, guys, that's the information. That's my seasonal depression was no joke. There is actually a thing. So take care, guys. Thanks for listening to Talent Instinct. I'm Chantal Penny, and if you want more razor sharp insider info on instinctivizing your hiring game, then hit the subscribe button. Oh, and remember to drop a killer rating and review. Please don't hold back. Spread the news to fellow construction business owners too. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and soak up all of my content, please do so by stalking us on Talent Instinct and my brainchild Siteforce Recruitment on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.